Hiring in-house versus hiring a content agency. What should you do when you want to scale your content to the next level and actually start getting clients through your content? As a busy business owner, you have to pick one option. Literally, you can't do it all yourself. So in this video, I'm going to go through what the best option is for you. Well, I'm not going to decide for you, but I'm going to show you the pros and cons of each so you can decide for yourself. And if you don't know who I am, my name is James, owner of Magnify Your Content Media, and I help 6 to 7 to 8 plus figure entrepreneurs build content systems to save time and scale. And if you want my social proof, check out the first link in the description. If you want to join my email list where I give away free content tips and resources on a daily basis, check out the second link in the description. You get a free present when you join. But this is of course going to be a tiny bit biased because I do own a content agency myself. So it will be a tiny bit biased, but I'm not deciding for you. I'm just going to give you the kind of like facts about pros and cons, and you can decide for yourself. If you do decide to go with a content agency, first link in the description, book in a call with me and we can speak in more detail. But anyway, let's get into it. Let me go a bit smaller here. And we're going to start with hiring in-house, okay? So the pros for hiring in-house, let's go through that. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so the pros for hiring in-house is they're with you long-term. So, for example, you hire someone and they're with you for a long period of time. With agencies, which I will speak about in a minute, is normally a 3-month minimum, and then whatever happens there, whatever happens there, you can go from there. But with employees, of course, they're longer term. Next is you can train them up yourself. So you don't have to rely on someone else training someone up, which can be, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you can train them up yourself. So if you see something that you don't like, you can literally hop on a call with them straight away, or literally if you're in a building together, you can speak to them about it straight away and you can train them up 24/7. In some cases as well, with hiring in-house, you do get better communication. For example, like you can speak to them 24/7 if you are in-house with them, and also in a building with them. If you own your own building, you're with them 24/7 basically, and communication's better because they're not dealing with anything else. They're just dealing with you as the company because they work for you. They're an employee of you, so it's better communication. To be honest, like, I'm going to be straight up. That's the only, like, I would say, pros that I can find personally for hiring in-house, because like there's not many other pros. It's not cheaper. It's definitely not cheaper, which I will speak about in a minute, which I should have spoken about in the cons. But let's move on to the cons. If you can think of any, like, go ahead, like think of them. But those are only pros I can think of hiring in-house, to be honest. Next one's cons. There are a few cons to hiring in-house. For example, they could leave at any time. There's no like kind of course there's an agreement, but they can leave at any time. Then you're stuck and you're just like, oh, what do I do now? I've got to hire ASAP because I need the content. So they could leave at any time. You have to have the skill to train them up. So you can't just hire them and be like, do it. You have to have the skill to train them up, because you're probably going to want to go for a bit of a lower budget. Yes, maybe, for example, or you might hire the best, who knows. But most of the time you're going to have to train them up and show them exactly what to do, how to do it, SOPs, everything like that, KPIs. You have to do that yourself, okay? And that takes time. And you're a busy business owner, which is good to train your team members, of course, but it's a bit of a bottleneck because you have to be there 24/7 to guide them, okay? And most of the time people hire people who've just come out of like university or stuff like that, who've got a degree, and they're not even that good at what they do. So think about it like that as well. That's another con. You have to manage them 24/7, so you have to be there for them 24/7. You don't get to chill. You have to manage them, okay? You have to you don't have to micromanage them, but you have to be there 24/7 to manage them, and that's just annoying, to be honest. And it is costly. There's a big misconception that an agency costs more. That's completely the opposite. It's because you have to spend at least 2 to 3k per person to get someone good for ideation, scripting, editing, posting. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10k a month from like ideation, scripting, editing, strategy, posting. That's a lot of money to hire individuals, okay? And that's if you bring it in-house. It's very expensive. Another con is they're probably not a killer at content. As I mentioned, you're probably going to hire someone who's not like good, but you want to train them up. So they're not a killer. They're not obsessed with it, and that's a problem, okay? And may get better opportunities. So the person you hire may get a big opportunity, and again, they're going to leave at any time. They can leave at any time. Of course, they have to give notice, but you know what I'm saying? They could leave at any time, and you could be stuck. You could be like, what do I do now? I've just trained them up. I have to do it again. Okay, you're going to have to train them up again if you hire someone new. So those are the pros and cons of hiring in-house. There are definitely more cons. But again, I want to be straight up. I probably will be a bit biased because I own a content agency. So you can decide for yourself if you think those are right. Next is let's go into hiring a content agency. So the pros, there's a lot of pros. So for example, it's way cheaper. You can get an agency for like 2.5k a month for all ideation, scripting, editing, etc. 2 to 5k a month. And as I said, hiring employees plus the benefits they get as well, because you have to give them certain things, is around 10k plus a month. Okay, so it's way cheaper, way cheaper. That's coming from experience because I charge around 2 to 5k a month as well. So just to be straight up. And we get killer results, as you can see in the first link in the description. Next pro is no need to communicate. You only communicate with one person. So if you have a team, you have to communicate with all of them 24/7. But with an agency, you communicate with one person, a client success manager, or you communicate with, for example, me, because I do most of the communication. I want to be one-on-one with you. So you don't have to deal with the editors, script writers, anything like that. You just deal with me or a client success manager, for example, okay? Next is no micromanaging, again, so you don't have to manage them 24/7. The guy who's the success manager or the CEO is going to manage them, okay, is going to micromanage them, so you don't have to do any of that. The next pro is no need to train people up. They're already trained. So you don't have to take your time to learn the skill and also train people up. They're already trained up through the agency CEO or their team members, etc. Okay, they're already trained and already killers. Next is, again, relates to being a killer at what they do, is better at what they do because they do it for a living. Okay, they do it for a living. They're on it 24/7. All they're consuming is content 24/7, and all they know is content. So they're better at what they do because they do it for a living. Next pro is high motivation. Okay, very high motivated people, because let's just say, for example, you hire someone in-house, like, they're not very motivated. Most employees aren't motivated because then they're just not motivated for content. They just need the job. They need the money, okay? But for an agency, they live and breathe it. They've got high motivation to kill it because they're not just getting paid most of the time a base salary. They're getting paid more and more and more as each client comes on board. So it's high motivation to get good results, to get more clients, okay? More scalability, okay? It's definitely more scalability, because if you hire one of each of these, again, it's going to cost 10k a month, and you're not going to be able to scale that content up a lot because there's only one individual people. But if you have an agency, they've got loads of people, loads of employees that come on board, contractors, etc., and you can scale your content more. You can scale your content more efficiently and better. Like it's going to be, they can produce multiple pieces of content every single day. And the last pro is speed. Okay, of course it's going to be quicker because they're better at what they do. They know what they're doing. They've done it every time. They do it for a living, as I said. So speed, again, it's just going to be way quicker. So those are the pros. Next, let's move on to the cons. There are a few cons that I want to go through. First is divided attention. If you hire an agency and they've got a load of clients, they will be divided attention because they won't be able to focus on you 24/7. But if you have a good agency, even if they have a lot of clients, they're going to be able to give you divided attention, okay? So keep that in mind as well. Onboarding time, so they're going to have to know about you, your business, brand, assets, everything like that. It takes a bit of time to onboard people. Generalized work as well. So most agencies do have frameworks that they follow, so it's going to be generalized. But if you get a good agency, again, they're going to do it personalized. They're going to research you, your industry, everything like that, and create the best content that's tailored towards your brand. But still, generalized work. There are some really bad agencies out there that just do generalized work. So be careful if you are deciding to hire an agency. And then the last con really is limited control. So you can't control, I know I said about like you only have to communicate with one person, but you can't control what that one person is saying to the other people. Okay, so it's limited control. You can't be like, okay, let's do this exactly like this. You can say that, of course, but some agencies might not follow what you're doing because they think they know better, which they probably do because they live and breathe the content game. But yeah, it's limited control. You can't control everything. But yeah, those are the main pros and cons of each. I probably could figure out some more pros of in-house, but I can't at the moment. But there probably are. And there's probably more pros for this, more cons for this, more pros for this, more cons for this, okay? But yeah, this is my opinion, and from like seeing people coming from in-house teams to hiring us, that's what I've seen as well, and that's what they've told me. But it's completely up to you, of course, if you want to hire in-house or hire a content agency. I actually suggest hiring a content agency first, and then getting them to teach you the ropes as well, and then later on in the future, hiring in-house, okay? Yeah, once you know everything about it, so you can train your team members up, etc. And you can get content agencies to consult you as well on certain aspects, what we actually do as well. So yeah, that's the pros and cons of hiring in-house versus hiring a content agency. Hope you got some value from this, and I hope you can make your decision after this, or at least get a better understanding of the pros and cons. Again, yeah, subscribe, everything like that, and I hope you got some value from this, and peace.